What's up, everybody? All right, we're back with another live. You already know the business. If it's the first time you're checking me out, or if you like this content, hit that subscribe. You all know that I don't sugarcoat nothing. I say it straight up how it is. Some are gonna like it, and some are not. But it's okay. I could deal with that. There's no problem, honestly, when it comes to what I'm saying, and I'm gonna voice my opinion, and I'm going to say it how it is because it has to be said straight up. I know a lot of people don't want to hear it, but when it all comes down to it, the reality is the reality, and that's all it is. The real facts are out here, and when it comes to what the studio is doing and everything that they've been trying, it hasn't been working, and this is why, like I've been saying for a while, the Snyderverse has to get restored, and it's going to make a strong comeback. There's no deny about it. It's just a matter of time. And seeing everything that's going on right now with this whole Superman, look, all of these shills are coming out, and they're trying to fake praise and saying that this is going to be the best movie since whatever. But we already know where the fans and the audience stands at. You can have all these shows coming out and saying that they are watching this movie, and it's getting positive reviews and everything, but we know what's up. Like, we already know exactly how and what they're about, and just seeing what they're putting out there is just hilarious. It really is. It's really, really funny, and it's just they're just trying to come after us in the sense of they don't want you know for us to be out there and exposing all of their nonsense, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here exposing all of WB's nonsense, and it just cracks me up because they love to go and post all this fake content out there, in the sense where if you're bowing down to them, if you want to say, then that's when they quote unquote reward you. But reality is that they're not fooling anybody. The real ones know what's up, and in the end, we already know where we stand as fans, and just together, united. I'm telling y'all straight up, like, this studio is about to feel it with Superman, and this is not the Superman that we wanted. What's going on? Appreciate y'all for watching, for tuning in, and all that good stuff. Appreciate y'all. I do want to talk about a few things. Not that much. This is gonna be like a quick video, but with the time that I have, it's crazy because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. You know, like, WB took down one of my videos because I was talking about Superman, and apparently they got about their feelings, and they removed one of my videos of one of my lives. And I was just like looking at my videos, and I was like, damn, let me go and check out my videos and stuff just for the hell of it. And I noticed that one of them has been removed, and then it says that I removed it, which is funny because I haven't removed my video. And they literally went out of their way to take my video down because, of course, like I told y'all, they're trying to silence us. They know, meaning WB knows, the studio knows that we, the Snyder fans and the Snyderverse community, are powerful. And they fear that. They don't like that. They're scared of that. And they're trying to silence us. But it's not going to work because I'm not keeping my mouth shut. I'm not selling out. I don't have a price tag. And that's what triggers them. WB thinks that they can bribe people, and they can go be out there and be like, hey, look, I'm gonna give you a movie ticket if you talk good about it. Look, I don't care about your movie. I work, I make my money. I can go out there and open my wallet to whatever I want, and I choose not to open it for this reboot. Honestly, it's crazy, completely crazy how things are right now going with this studio. And like I said, they're trying to silence me. They're trying, to low key fly under the radar because, of course, they know that they can't silence me, and they know that this movie is DOA. We're seeing it. There's a clip right now from that Rick and Morty, the one we saw with Zach and with what's his name, James Gunn, and then it shows you, if you watch the whole full episode, I guess it's showing you what's to come. They're telling you reality through a joke. You know, James Gunn is literally, go watch the clip. I'm not gonna talk about it. Just watch the clip if you haven't seen it. They're telling you exactly what's to come. And that's exactly what's gonna come, in the sense that once Superman tanks at the box office come Friday, it's over for the DCU. And this is opening the door even wider for the return of the Snyderverse. And some people might be like, oh, but it's not gonna work and it's not gonna happen. Just give up. Look, Look, we didn't give up for the Snyder Cut, and we're not giving up for the restoration of the Snyderverse because it's gonna make a comeback. Seeing how this industry is right now, I'm telling y'all straight up, this whole woke era, accepted. It's done. It's over. It doesn't sell anymore. This is why you see big corporations dropping out from all of these events and they don't want to sponsor it no more because it's telling you that era is over. All of that agenda garbage is done. That time passed already. Accept it. Real cinema is on the horizon and it's already here. It's already starting. We're seeing it with F1. We're seeing it with Jurassic World Rebirth. We're seeing it with all these great movies. And these movies are not the Marvel formula. So people are finally getting back to their senses, if you want to say, and waking up to see that the quality is out there. And just like that, we're going to get the Snyderverse restored. We're going to get the air cut. We're going to see all these great movies that we were getting. And of course, WB is going to have to once again feel us and see that we are the majority come Friday at the box office. We made everything after Zack Snyder. Everything at WB Tank. We made the most recent ones, which was, remember, I'm talking about DC. We made Joker 2 flop. And we made The Flush flop also. And then it's interesting because if you look at it, the DCEU still sold because the Aquaman tickets for Aquaman 2, where was the Lost Kingdom, made more pre-sale tickets than what Superman with James Gunn is doing. 97,000 or something like that. I don't know how many, but I know I saw something like that. Or 97 million, something like that. And it's crazy. This is what I'm telling you. People are more excited for the DCEU than they are for the DCU. Nobody cares about the DCU. And the only ones that are right now bending the knee for James Gunn and the DCU are the shills. Honestly, people that are being paid off to say a positive fake review. That's the only reason they're doing it. You're starting to see a lot of YouTubers doing the same, bending the knee just because they want a paycheck. Honestly, I would rather keep my dignity and stay true and be broke than instead of me bending my knee and saying, you know what, I'm going to sell out. And just with that, I'm telling y'all, the Snyderverse is on the horizon. And all of these James Gunn chills that are coming out right now, they know it. It's inevitable. You can't stop it. The same way that they couldn't stop the Snyder Cut movement, they can't stop us come Friday. Because on Friday, when this movie releases, it's DOA. It's done. And WB knows it. They're preparing themselves, like I told you, in the sense of what are they going to do as a backup plan when they see that James Gunn's Superman doesn't make the numbers that they're expecting at the box office. Plain and simple. They're going to have to go back to the drawing board, and they're going to have to go back to what was working. If you have Hasbro and Paramount bringing back Michael Bay after 3 different directors, 3 different takes, 3 different visions, and it didn't work, guess what? You have to go to what was working. Michael Bay made 5 Transformers films, and they made money at the box office. Say what you want, but they all made money. The same thing with, what we're seeing right now with Marvel. They brought back the Russo brothers because after Endgame, what has been to the level of Avengers Endgame? Nothing. Nothing has been to that level. And it's telling you that they're going back, fixing things and bringing these, old cast, old directors, everything, because that was working. They've realized after so many flops that they can't continue like that. And the same thing is happening with what we're seeing, and it's about to happen with WB. There's so many flops that you can take before you go to the brink of bankruptcy. And this is where the studio is at. The stocks have been over 2 years down in the red. And when they go up a little bit, it's not enough. And that's why they're realizing, hey, if this Superman tanks, remember, James Gunn has admitted and has said that everything, the future of DC with their movies, rely on how successful Superman this Friday is going to be. That movie tanks at the box office, guess what? They're going to be like, look, we had to pull the plug because we can't keep on losing money. And ever since James Gunn came on board and the first official IP that he did for WB, which was The Suicide Squad, tanked horrible at the box office. Since then till now, everything has been going down. They haven't been making money. No DC property has been making money. And I'm not talking about Minecraft because Minecraft is a different thing. And I'm not talking about Barbie because Barbie is a different thing. That has nothing to do with DC. I'm focused on talking about the DC cinematic universe, if you want to put it that way. After Zack Snyder, no movie from DC has been able to make money and recuperate itself. It just hasn't. It's been costing them too much money. And that's why when they see that on Friday, they do not make the numbers that they're expecting, whatever the numbers are, this is why they continue to drop it. They already know that there's no hope left. The only hope that they have is they're going to have to restore SnyderVerse. That's the only option. But what do you think they're going to do? They're going to be like, oh, okay, Superman flopped. It didn't make the money at the box office. We're going to continue with this universe. Why? Why would you? I mean, if it's not about the money, like they keep on claiming now, again, James Gunn and his followers are always with excuses. What are they saying? Oh, it's not about the numbers at the box office. So why are you in this business in the first place? Because this is a business. You're supposed to be making money. If you don't make money, you can't fund the next project. If it wasn't about money, you guys wouldn't be happy about, oh, that Penguin was the most viewed. And all of a sudden, James Gunn wants to take credit for that. See what I'm saying? If it wasn't about money, then why would you be doing a reboot with a cheaper budget, trying to take shortcuts to profit the most? They're complete hypocrites. And that's what they don't like. They don't like people like me exposing them and saying it how it is. They don't like to be put on blast, And yeah, the same thing with Dune. Dune made some money for them. Dune made money for them. And that's not even a DC property. That's a WB property. But, it's a different genre and stuff. But the point is, how everything is going right now, yeah, you're right. The T-Rex will stomp it. It's stomping the box office right now. And I love that. They're at past $320 million. They're way ahead of the game. They're way ahead of the game. Opening for Superman is not going to be much. It's not going to be what they're expecting. It's not going to be a high number. And honestly, this is going to be interesting. It's really going to be very interesting as we continue to approach to Friday with the opening. And with that being said, leaks are already starting to come out. And the embargo, I think, lifts today or it lifted yesterday. I don't even care, honestly. And like I just spoke about it, WB pulled one of my videos down because they're all in their feelings because I'm exposing them and I'm talking about Superman. So magically, my video just disappeared. And then it's saying that I deleted my video. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I'll delete comments. Hell yeah, I'll delete comments because if people are coming in here with that, clownish stuff, I'm just completely not tolerating it anymore. But my video, nah, they're just salty because they know that I'm out here spitting facts and they don't like that. A lot of people don't like to hear the reality, but that's what I'm doing. That's who I am. That's what we need to be hearing, I'm not gonna come here and tell you, hey, look, we got unicorns and there's butterflies flying around. No, I'm gonna tell you straight up, this is exactly what's going on. And that's what they don't like. They don't like that. And you have all these shows that are just coming out left and right. Let's see. If it passes 700 million, what happens next? I'll be honest with you. Nothing. Because Barbie made $1 billion. Minecraft made almost $1 billion. Dune made $1 billion. What has happened? Nothing. So if Superman, let's just say, I'm going to give Superman and James Gunn the benefit of the doubt. So some of y'all don't be like, oh, well, you're always so negative and you don't never talk anything positive. Look, I'm going to tell you straight up. If Superman makes over 700 million this weekend coming up, okay, good for them. But does that mean anything? No. You know why? Because Barbie couldn't save this company. Dune couldn't save this company. Minecraft wasn't able to save this company. So what do you think? That if James Gunn's Superman actually makes $1 billion, so what? So freaking what? That doesn't mean squat. Because those stocks are still low. That's the thing. If WB was in a better condition, overall, the whole company, their stocks would be over $15 a share. And it doesn't even reach to that. The most that I've seen it gone to is like $12 and some change. And this is all under the leadership of James Gunn. And we're talking about now the DCU, where these movies are supposed to bring in revenue. And they're not. It's just costing the company more. Warner is still incredible. The company will still be sold. In due time, it will. This is why I've been saying WB in the end of the tunnel, they're going to have to come to realize that there's only two options before them. One, they're going to have to restore the SnyderVerse if they don't want to be sold off. And we're already seeing that they're selling off assets from the company, which is, it's nothing really important. It's just probably TV shows and stuff that nobody cares about. But when it comes to DC IP, they're not going to sell that anytime soon. They're not. They have to go into bankruptcy pretty much for them to sell off. And they're not going to do that because they're going to still have the ego that they have. And we're once again going to make this movie flop on Friday. They're going to see how powerful we are together, united. We made it for the flush. The flush tanked at the box office. Opening weekend was like 88 million. Pathetic. That was terrible. And then now, like I've been telling y'all, everything that I've been predicting, it's crazy because I've been saying that joking around, and it's literally taking place and it's happening right before us. I told y'all like over a year ago, I go, you don't believe me? Go watch my videos, the old ones. And I said, watch, as we get closer, they're going to try to justify that a flop is going to be the new norm because they're going to be like, hey, it's the start of a new reboot. You know, they're going to come out with excuses, and that's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. I told y'all, watch. McFarlane and all these toys are going to end up on clearance before the movie is even released. And we're seeing that. These toys are right now, all this merchandise is already showing up at Ross. It's popping up on clearance sections. And people are posting and sharing those videos and pictures. But WB's going after them because they don't want to like smear the name of their new movie. But we already know what's up. If they couldn't sell pre-sale tickets, it took them over a month to try to fill up those seats. And some places are not even filled up. That tells you everything. What do you think, that on Friday that they're going to make $1 billion? Yeah, right. Get out of here. Jurassic World is already ahead of the game. And that's beautiful. I can't wait, honestly. You're calling it 450 million. That's tops. It will be the biggest flop ever. Yeah, big time. If they make under 500 million, it's straight up a flop. If they make under 700 million, it's still a flop. And they're going to try to justify it. And they're going to try to probably inflate those numbers and say, hey, look, it's not a flop. You know, everybody loves it. No, you're not. No, you don't. You already know what's up, you know. The flush didn't do anything to this company. It just hurt them even more financially. Joker 2, we're still talking about Joker 2. And that movie's been out like over a year and a half, 2 years almost. That tells you everything. This is why I'm telling you. We all know that with James Gunn, this company is completely in hot water and it's boiling up. They know it. The studio knows it. The real hype to Gun Superman isn't real. They can't sell toys or t-shirts. Half the kids prefer Batman or the T-Rex. Yeah, exactly. Look, everything that has to do with Jurassic World right now is selling out or sold out, honestly. And, you know, like you try to go to Walmart or you go to Target or whatever, and you're going to see a section of all that stuff sold out. But Superman is all overstocked. That's all getting ready because once the movie releases, all that stock that's not selling, they're going to put it all in one pile, literally on a pallet. And then they sell it off to like Ross and Ollie's and all these third-party companies that, you know, they go for much more cheaper, that are, you know, worse than clearance and stuff like that. And, you know, we know that it's not selling. We know it. WB, they're here trying to convince us and say, oh, everybody loves it. No, they're not. Nobody's loving it. The only ones that are loving it are straight up the cultists and the shills, meaning the ones that are getting paid, just getting a check so that they can say, hey, look, I want to talk good about it. But in reality, they're not. You know, that's what we're seeing out here right now. And that's what I'm here exposing. You know, like, I'm tired of all this nonsense. You know, the fact is that on Friday, you know, we're going to once again show the studio. And the studio fears us. They know it. They know that we are powerful in the sense of when we boycott and we come together, it's not, you know, nobody's going to go out there and support it. Like I'm telling y'all, we made it possible with everything that's out there in the DC movies. I'm not talking about Minecraft. I'm not talking about Barbie. Because I know some of y'all are going to be like, oh, you couldn't stop that, this and that. Look, that's on different levels. But I'm talking about when it comes to DC and everything that's going on with this company. You know, nothing has been working without Zack Snyder when it comes to the cinematic universe. Nothing. And if you don't believe me, go check out the stocks. The stocks are low. And so what if they're probably in the green? They're still in the low green. But meanwhile, Netflix, you have a share from Netflix over $1,000. That tells you a lot. The moment that Hasbro, a few days later, announced, not them, but like the rumor floating around with Michael Bay coming back to Transformers, their stocks are shooting up. They're starting to go back up. It's no coincidence. They're starting to realize, hey, look, the people want this. Not everybody, but majority of the people do. And that's how the same thing is right now with DC. DC knows that majority of the fans and the people out here want Zack Snyder. We want Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot. We want all these actors and actresses. And I guess some of y'all are going to be like, oh, well, they're getting old and, you know, they don't want to come back. First of all, don't come at me with that excuse. Because if Michael Keaton, that's almost 80 years old, could come back and reprise his role as Batman, After how many years? All these years? Wait, it's been like 30 years that he hasn't put on the cowl and cape. If he could reprise his role in The Flash, then don't come at me and tell me that Ben Affleck is old. And then you have the cast from Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad that are older than Ben Affleck, but that's okay, right? So it's like, come on, you can't justify all the BS anymore. You just can't, They have to accept reality that come Friday, this movie is not going to make the numbers over the weekend. It's just not. People are not excited like that. And you could tell because again, the stocks are very important to a company. The stocks tells you where the company is at financially. If it's in the red for a long time, people are not going to want to spend money with it. This is why you see people investing and spending money with Netflix, because they know that they're going to make their money back with all of these investors and stuff that they got going on. And meanwhile, WB is just sinking every time more and more. And I'm telling you, things are going to change. Things are going to get for the better, and they're going to be on our favor. And this is why the studio knows it. The studio is right now on panic mode. They're desperate. You don't believe me? There's a post out there right now, and I'm going to say how it is. This YouTuber, Grace Randolph, she sold out. WB is using these fake bot accounts of theirs, and they're using the actual Superman account, which is even worse. And they reached out to her, say, hey, we like what you posted on it, let us know so we can network and stuff like that. What are they doing? They're reaching out, and she's like, yeah, she agreed to it. So what is that telling you? She's shilling. As long as you get that, to me is a bribe. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm here calling it how it is. Nobody's paying me to talk and say all this. I'm saying it how it's supposed to be. And that's what the studio doesn't want. The studio doesn't want people and channels like mine speaking and saying the truth. That's the difference. That's the truth right there. I'm not going to come here and sugarcoat it and put butter on a turd and say, hey, look, eat it up. Nah, I'm going to tell you straight up, yo, that's a turd right there. You get what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you straight up how it is. And I get it. People don't like that. Some people don't like that, and that's okay. But in the end, truth hurts. That's exactly what it is, and I'm here spitting these facts, and I've been doing this for over 2 years. And you've all been seeing that I've been saying of what's coming and what's about to go down. And it's happening. It's taking place. The desperation of WB it's ridiculous, Like, this circus completely has gone out of hand. And all they have is just clowns running around, and there's no leader. They have no solid idea on what they want to do, and they're trying to say now with this whole thing with Matt Reeves, that they're going to start doing Batman and blah, blah. Look, I'm telling you right now, that's just bait. They're fooling you. With the script all of a sudden got turned in. Okay, so what? The script for Batgirl and the movie for Batgirl was fully filmed. It was fully finished. Everybody got paid. And then what happened? James Gunn came on board and they canceled Batgirl. I wonder what they're trying to hide. That's what I'm telling you. The same thing with this. They're trying to misguide people so they can be like, hey, look, we're going to still do the Batman 2, but watch, after Superman, you're going to start seeing all these screw-ups, and they're going to start changing their strategy. And eventually, the Batman 2 isn't going to get off the ground. I'm telling you, they're going to end up canning that thing. Because, of course, as long as James Gunn is in power and he's still in that seat that he is right now as CEO from DC Studios, this is his playground. This is his playground. And he's going to do everything that he can while he's still there. Remember, rumor has it that in 2026, next year, sometime around this time, that his contract is going to expire. Meaning that it's going to be up. Are they going to renew it? Rumor has it that no, because he's been costing the studio too much money. This is why all the weight is on James Gunn. And he knows it. WB knows it. These executives, all of these shareholders, stock investors, everything. Because everything is on that. The future of this company, in the sense of the cinematic universe with WB and DC, is all right now relying on James Gunn with this Superman reboot. But come Friday, come Saturday, and come Sunday, when we start seeing, when they reveal the box office numbers, they're going to be low. But they're going to try to praise it like if it's the best thing. Like it's the best thing. This is why I'm telling you. And everything that they've been saying has just been nothing but a lie, And look, honestly, like I said, the same thing was happening when Ann Sarnoff, remember? And Walter Hamada and Toby Emmerich were all there. And when we had that old regime, They were all like, oh, we want to thank Zack Snyder for what he's done with his trilogy, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, no, we want to get away and we want to do, we want to take a different course. Okay. You chose the wrong course because they went with the SnyderVerse. And look at how bad the SnyderVerse went. It's done and it's over. Where is it at now? It's done. Where's Ann Sarnoff today? No longer at WB. She's no longer in power. Now, what do you think? That's not coming for James Gunn? Of course it is. This is why he's trying to leave his quote-unquote legacy. For when he leaves, he's like, well, I did this and I did that. Even James Gunn saying and admitting what a mess this movie is going to be. Look at all the things that he's said, and it's just not helping them. Too late. Like I said, the damage is already done. Come Friday, accept what awaits you. It's going to be a financial failure at the box office. And WB knows it. They fear that. They're scared. They're nervous. They're right now probably in panic mode over in the studio, constantly having meetings, on calls, and talking about it. Hey, this movie's not going to make the numbers that we want. What do we do? What's plan B? And that's why I've been telling y'all, don't sleep on Comcast, because come January 1st, 2026, which is a few months away from now, they're going to be doing that network or partnership, whatever it is, with HBO Max. Why would HBO Max, when they had a meeting with Comcast specifically said, hey, we want Zack Snyder and we want David Ayer for DC alternative content for HBO Max? Think about it, my friends. Think about it. It's all right there. They're trying to hint at what's to come. Zack is already back. We already know with the 300 prequel. David Ayer is already there too. They can't talk about it. They can't say anything because, of course, there's non-disclosure agreements. So what do you think? That the backup plan isn't already taking place? Of course it is. Of course. This is why I'm telling you. WB is not going to be sold off to Netflix. I'm sorry to tell you that, but that's the fact. It's not going to happen. The same way how people were saying, oh, you'll never get the Snyder Cut. And we have it. Guess what's going to happen? The SnyderVerse will make a comeback. How is that going to take place? We don't know. But it's going to make a comeback. And once it does, everybody's going to be surprised. Everybody's going to be shocked. Not us, that we already know what's up. We already saw this coming. But with the studio itself, okay, what do? Hey, you want to have alternative content? Go for it. You want to have it on HBO Max? Let's go for it. If Comcast has the money and they want to do it, hell, let's go. My wallet is open. Let's go. And that's exactly what we have to do. We have to show the studio, hey, look, we got the Snyder Cut through them. And what didn't we go through with the studio themselves? But we have it. That's what you have to look at, the positive. The positive is that we have the Snyder Cut on physical and digital. And that's the whole point. When you have something, you can say, look, we made that happen. There's no excuse. We made that happen. That's out there right now. There's no stopping it, and they couldn't stop it. And they're doing the same thing now. Oh, give up, move on. The SnyderVerse is done. It's over. We're moving on with this reboot. Really? You're really moving on with this reboot? It's not working. It's not getting the traction that you want. So you're going to come here and sugarcoat it and say, hey, everybody's excited? No, we're not. No, we're not. Honestly, I'm not going to go out there and watch it. I'm not going to go out there. I'm telling y'all straight up, don't go out there and watch it. For what? Save your money. Go buy something else more important. Go watch Jurassic World Rebirth. Rewatch it. Rewatch it if you've seen it already. I'm going to go see it this weekend again. I'm not spending $1 on this James Gunn Superman. Not even to talk about it. For what? I don't need to go out there and say, hey, I've seen it just because of that. You sure that Grace... Look, man, when it comes down to this whole thing, look, honestly, all these shills, that's what they are in the end. They just want a paycheck. And, they'll sell out for the right price. That's all. How much do you think opening weekend to be considered a success? For it to be a success, honestly, it has to be past over 900 million. Yes, that seems like a crazy number. It seems like an unrealistic number. But remember, when they announced this reboot, they were saying that it was going to be $1 billion guaranteed. So that's how much pressure this movie has. For James Gunn to be saying that the future and all the pressure is upon him with this movie tells you everything. That's what it means, because they're literally betting everything on this movie. This is why they're on desperate mode with their marketing and doing everything last minute. And honestly, they're spending more money on the marketing than probably the movie itself. Look at what they did with The Flash. We saw how bad the marketing was. It was everywhere, the same thing. Everybody was praising it. And once opening weekend, what happened? $88 million at the box office. So what does that tell you? And they try to capitalize off of us Snyder fans, but they couldn't. You know, I only went out there and watched it one time. That's it. That's all I needed to go out there and see it. And I was like, let's see what of a mess they're gonna do with this movie. And that's exactly what it was. And it's thank you, James Gunn. So what do you think? That everything that we've seen in what is it, Creature Commandos, Peacemaker, the Suicide Squad, that's not all going to be in this new Superman? Of course it is. This is why I was saying for a while, especially to all these YouTubers, yo, stop giving ideas to them, because they're listening, they're taking notes, and they're fixing all these problems. So that's another thing too. WB has been on to all of us and seeing, okay, they don't like this, let's go and change it. Oh, they don't like that, let's go and take it out. We've seen how much, apparently there's like 30, 40 minutes removed from this, from the official version of this movie. I don't care, honestly. Now leaks are coming out. You know, it's like before Friday, all the leaks are gonna be out. So who cares, you know? That's what, you know. Yeah, this movie's gonna be straight up crap, honestly. It's completely gonna be a mess, you know, and I can't wait. I can't wait for it to be already Sunday so we can start hearing all the excuses. Because I'm gonna give y'all the benefit of the doubt. On Friday, that's the first day. Now when we hear over the weekend, on by Sunday night, we'll know exactly where this movie's at and standing with the numbers at the box office. But guess what? The numbers for Jurassic World are high already up there. They're already, by this weekend, they're probably gonna be past already or about the 400 million. That's just on its second week and the weekend. That's what I'm telling y'all. Jurassic World is going to dominate, and it's already dominating the box office. Superman has no chance. That's why I posted that video. It has no chance. And then next week you have, of course, Fantastic Four. Now, I'm not a fan of Fantastic Four. I might go see it, but I'm telling y'all straight up, this is something that nobody's really, they're not excited for Superman. They want to just go see good movies, and those good movies are Jurassic World, and of course now that we're getting Fantastic Four, you know. And then of course the week after we have Smurfs. So it's like a lot of good stuff that's coming out. But Superman, nah, everybody knows that the Superman's gonna be a joke. It's completely going to be all just pure buffoonery, you know. And it's just it's a circus. It's really a circus, you know. Nothing that James Gunn is putting out there is working. It worked at Marvel because of course that's Guardians of the Galaxy, and you had Disney backing them up and stuff like that. But this is WB. We're talking about WB and DC. They have no chance with this whole reboot, honestly. If we got an amazing Man of Steel 2 instead of Batman vs. Superman back in 2015, it definitely would have made $1 billion. Oh yeah, for sure. You know, if we would have got Ben Affleck's Batman movie, that for sure would have made $1 billion. But again, it's the studio's fault. The studio are the ones that screwed all of this up, you know. Fantastic flop. Yeah, I know some people are saying that it's not gonna be all that and stuff, but who knows? I think Fantastic Four is gonna be making more money than Superman, and of course, the one that's gonna be, the king of the summer blockbuster movies is going to be Universal with Jurassic World, because they're already ahead of the game. Incredible, you know. Yeah, people are preferring Fantastic Four over Superman, and like I said, it's gonna be interesting, you know, as we continue to get closer. We're 4 days now away from the actual release, and you could just see that WB is completely, they hit the switch on panic mode and desperation mode. You can see it, you know. For them to remove one of my videos, and the crazy part is that my video was removed without my consent. So it's like, you know, like I was like, what the hell? Like, this video has been removed by me? No, it hasn't. Don't come at me with that nonsense. But it shows you how petty this company is. That's what they fear, that I'm spitting the facts and telling them how it is. They don't want to hear it because they don't want their name to be smeared with the Superman reboot. But in the end, we already know what's up. The damage is already done. You cannot repair it anymore. That's like saying you're putting a band-aid over a freaking a big wound. It's not gonna happen. It's just not, you know. James Gunn has proven that he is not worthy of it. When James Gunn was announced, remember a few months later, it was sometime like in December of that time, even people on his team were doubting it and doubting him, saying, yeah, we don't even believe in James Gunn, you know. And I'm telling y'all, people are just not, they're not feeling this, you know. It's just, it's crazy, you know. Jurassic World already made over 300 million. Oh yeah, exactly. That's what I said. It's already past 300 million a few minutes ago. But yeah, that's pretty dope. You know, good for them. That's a monster, honestly. Will Sam come back for Transformers? I have a feeling that he is, and I think that's what they're gonna end up doing in the next Transformers. That it's gonna be the old cast with the new cast, and that's something I've been talking about for a while also. You know, and it's good to see that more people are jumping on board and talking good about Michael Bay and saying, yeah, he was making money with the brand. And that's exactly what's happening, you know. And now with DC, the same thing. When Zack Snyder was there, they were making money. The thing is, the studio kept on getting in the way. And they're about to feel the crunch this Friday completely. Remember back in the day, we had DCU, CW, DC running at the same time. Now the James Gunn, he's canceling other TV shows and he's messing up the DC universe. Yeah, James Gunn he's ruining and canceling everything that's not convenient for him. That's the thing. Whatever's convenient and works out for him, that's what he's gonna go with. But if not, he's just gonna cancel it and he's gonna say, no, it's not gonna work. And just like that, he's gonna do to Matt Reeves with the Batman too. Because I'm telling you, in the end, while James Gunn is there, he's gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna focus on my Batman. And that's what apparently the next script that he's working on, you know? And he's gonna try to rush all this. He's just trying to rush everything and he's a mess. He doesn't even know where he's going at. Fantastic Four looks way better than James Gunn's Superman. Yeah, a lot of people are preferring that, honestly, and I'm here for it. You know, I'm not a Fantastic Four fan, but you know, for when it comes to this, hey, you know, like go out there and watch it. That Jurassic World and Smurfs, that's it. Superman, they're gonna feel it, and they're gonna see that we have been the majority this whole time because they thought that them taking away Henry Cavill because he was quote unquote older, you know, and bringing in David Cornsweet was going to work, and everything that they've been doing just contradicts everything that they've been proving to do. You know, look at the cast from Peacemaker. Most of them are older than Henry Cavill. Most of them are older than Ben Affleck. That tells you. But James Gunn saying that these actors and actresses were not for what he wanted to do. Come on. Even Matt Reeves had the opportunity to make a movie with Ben Affleck, and he chose not to. Again, this is what shows you where the studio and this company stands at. You know, this is why Netflix is winning. And damn it, that's why we are here. We're together and we're going to keep on making it happen. And again, it's just a matter of time. Just how we got the Snyder Cut released, we're also going to get the SnyderVerse restored. And there's going to be some people that are going to be saying, no, that's not going to happen. You know, you keep saying the same thing. I've been saying the same thing for over 2 years. And before that, I was saying that for like about 5 years that the SnyderVerse restored the SnyderVerse and all that stuff. I mean, the what is it? The Snyder Cut. And we got it. So if we didn't give up then, what makes you think we're going to give up now? That's the difference, you know? But in the end, it's about what we want and what we're willing to pay for. And the studio knows it. They're going to have to learn the hard way financially. But this is why I've been saying it. We will stop at nothing. They know it. They know that we're not buying these tickets. They know we're not buying this merchandise. Hell, it's even going to clearance. And that's already telling you everything. And it's just, there's no repairing the company with James Gunn. There's not. The only way that this company can redeem themselves is by bringing Zack and just restoring the SnyderVerse. If they don't do that, and they know that their DCU is already down to the ground, the next option is going to be that they're going to be forced to sell. And that's where things are going to get interesting. But again, WB's ego, it's not going to let them get to that point because they're going to be like, you know what? We're going to have to go back and do something else. And they're going to have to go back to it. This is why I'm telling y'all, I have a feeling something is going to happen with Comcast, and especially with HBO Max. That's where I'm looking at. Because like I've been telling y'all, they can capitalize just like Netflix. Netflix doesn't have to put a movie in theaters because they don't have to pay the middle person. They don't have to pay AMC. They don't have to pay all these theaters and split the cost. No, they get to keep everything by gaining their subscribers, something that HBO Max doesn't have, content that HBO Max doesn't have. They don't have content. How do you have a streaming platform, but you don't have content? Make it make sense. And then the little bit of content you have, nobody's even watching. Nobody cares about it. But Netflix every week has something new, constantly, very often. They're always updating. Meanwhile, HBO Max has been sitting in the dust for a while. Because what other big thing besides The Last of Us do they have? Nothing. They're not doing nothing with the House of Dragons. They're not doing anything with whatever it is that they're doing. That's nothing. Nothing. See what I'm saying? And Netflix, they constantly have content. Disney, Paramount, they all have content. Amazon Prime, they all have content. But HBO Max, just sitting there in the dust. Makes no sense. See what I'm saying? So if Comcast sees potential in that, you imagine what could come from that? The possibilities are endless, and they can capitalize on that. They can do so much because Universal doesn't have a streaming platform. You imagine they buy out WB and they own the platform, which is HBO Max. You imagine what they could put on it? It would be nuts. That's telling you everything and saying a lot with that. Yeah. Remember, Paramount, I doubt it because Paramount's struggling also financially. They need to recuperate themselves, especially with all the flops they've been having with Transformers. And Universal, I think, remember, Universal's owned by Comcast, so if Comcast buys them, hey, that's a win for us and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what it is. I just wanted to talk about that real quick. Like I said, don't give up. Keep on holding on. Keep on using Restore the SnyderVerse, because that's the whole message that we're fighting and we're trying to send out to the studio. And not only the studios, but the executives, the shareholders, the stock investors, all those people, they all see our hashtag. Just use the hashtag. It's working. People are watching and they're aware of it. But I'm going to leave it with that. I'm probably going to come back later on with another live and we'll talk more about it. But until then, y'all stay good. Have a good day. I'm going to catch you on the next one. We will stop at nothing. You already know it. Peace.